together.
For the first time in nearly 12 years, WWE TV has come to the second largest city in the state of Indiana. This is Fort Wayne in the historic Allen County War Memorial. The Coliseum is sold out. Over 10,000 WWE fans expected tonight for the return of Saturday night's main event.
I'm pumped up. I'm excited. Here it is, the confrontation we've been waiting for. It's The Undertaker. Now Stone Cold cowboying him up. You want a moment? This is always a moment.
One of the most popular programs in the history of television.
Saturday night's main event.
Bobby is back.
Jade Cargill is here.
That championship needs a spotlight.
Let's fight right now. Come on.
The return of Paige to win tag team gold.
It's time to put all of y'all in check.
You want the smoke? Then we can bring the smoke.
I'm not just a star maker, I'm a star breaker.
Everyone is buzzing about this spectacle.
On Saturday night's main event. You are looking live at the sold-out Allen County War Memorial Coliseum in Fort Wayne, Indiana. 10,714 WWE fans on hand for Saturday night's main event.
This is what you do.
The following is a 6-woman tag team contest scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Adelaide, South Australia, she is the WWE Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley is undefeated on Saturday night's main event. And she kicks off the show here tonight in a 6-woman tag team matchup. Rhea Ripley, of course, beat Jade Cargill for the WWE Championship back in WrestleMania. She now has a WrestleMania rematch a week from tomorrow. Turin, Italy. Clash in Italy. Ripley Cargill for the WWE Championship. Hello again, everybody. Michael Cole, Wade Barrett at ringside, and partner Rhea Ripley an opportunity tonight to build some momentum toward next Sunday in Clash in Italy.
Yeah, undoubtedly, and also gain some vengeance for a number of beatdowns she's received from Jade Cargill over the past several weeks, including last night on SmackDown.
Rhea suffered a jaded at the hands of Jade Cargill after Rhea and Charlotte were successful in a tag team matchup against Fatal Influence on SmackDown.
Introducing her tag team partners, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair.
Former tag team champions teaming with Rhea Ripley here tonight. Charlotte Flair with some interesting gear for this matchup. She received a number of friendship bracelets over the past couple of years from a number of fans who felt that Charlotte was down in the dumps, that she was depressed a bit. And these friendship bracelets, well, they put Charlotte in an unbelievable mood and led to where she is today, as happy as she's ever been in her life and in her career. So to pay respect to all these fans who've sent these bracelets over the years, Charlotte Flair's gear tonight, Wade, adorned with all these friendship bracelets.
Yeah, it's been an incredible 12 months for Charlotte Flair, taking herself out of that funk and back to the very top. And a huge part of that has also been this partnership with Alexa Bliss. Allies of convenience initially, but that has turned into a huge friendship. Now the Allies of Convenience label could well be applied to Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley too tonight. Two women who probably don't like each other too well, career rivals, yet they have to make it work tonight.
Yeah, massive egos on the same team tonight. Alexa Bliss has played peacekeeper over the past few weeks.
A storm is coming.
And their opponents, the team of B-Fab, Michin, and Jade Cargill.
Adorned in gear, paying homage to the late great Michael Jackson. Jade Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab head into action tonight for the first time, Wade, as a team. Remember, Michin and B-Fab would join forces with Jade Cargill a few months back to try to take out Rhea Ripley and company. Tonight, another opportunity to do that.
Well, Shamon to that trio, they look incredible, and they've looked incredible every single time they've operated as a unit, even outside of match competition. Now, this is their first test as a trio, but if history is anything to go by, they can be devastating once that bell rings.
You know, on the other side of the coin, Wade, a lot has been made about this Rhea Ripley-Charlotte Flair relationship and these two massive egos colliding. Can they get along? Well, the past shows they can. This trio, including Bliss, 2-1 as a team, and even last night, Charlotte and Rhea picked up a victory on SmackDown.
Yeah, there was some tension in that match yesterday on SmackDown, but Bliss did the right thing. She said to Rhea, she said to Charlotte, you two have to bond. We have to make this work. There are multiple threats in the division, be it Fatal Influence or indeed Jade Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab. And if we're going to survive around here, we have to act as a unit.
And the bell rings. The referee, Daphne LaShawn, will work this matchup. 6-woman tag to kick us off on Saturday night's main event. 3 title matches still to come, and the Becky Lynch-Sol Ruca collision. And the WWE Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley, going to start things off with a woman she took the title from at WrestleMania, the Storm, Jade Cargill.
Well, that's some mind games from Jade Cargill. Make no mistake, that's not fear of Rhea Ripley. Jade Cargill believes she has Ripley's number.
Well, Cargill will get Ripley a week from Sunday at Clash in Italy for the championship. B-Fab will start things off against Rhea Ripley. Lands on her feet. B-Fab ducks behind and trying to hook Rhea up here and there. There's the power now of the Eradicator. But B-Fab able to land on her feet. Waistlock now on Rhea.
Yeah, how impressive has B-Fab been since this link up with Jade Cargill, I was going to say.
Did you hear the impact of that clothesline.
Yeah, a little chest-beating moment there from Mami, sending a message to her opponent in just over a week's time at Clash in Italy.
And tag made, and here comes Alexa Bliss, who appears on Saturday night's main event for the very first time in her career. And Alexa now sends PFAB toward the corner. Tag made, here comes Michin. Michin, a former TNA Knockouts World Champion, appearing in her second Saturday night's main event in her career.
Michin has been an absolute menace of late since linking up with Cargill, and we're going to need all of that menacing behavior right now, but taken down from the off by Bliss.
Yeah, the former 5-time world champion has this capacity crowd on its feet. Nice takedown of Michin. And right there, Alexa Bliss. Oh! Vintage Bliss cover. Hook to the leg. Michin kicks it too.
Yeah, and Alexa Bliss really has to be the glue in this trio tonight. Make sure there is peace between Charlotte and Rhea at all times, and you almost can't fail.
And former tag team champions working together now. And here is the queen, the 14-time world champion, Charlotte Flair. Her father, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, appeared in one Saturday night's main event in his career. Charlotte making her first appearance. And the uber-athletic Flair now in control of Michin.
Well, Michin is as hardcore as they get, but nothing will prepare you for that kind of abuse.
You know, it's incredible watching this change in attitude of Charlotte over the past year.
She's back to having fun again, back to enjoying her time in the ring and around the industry, and that is when she's at her absolute best.
Clothesline takes Michin down. PFAB now into the ring. And Charlotte Flair, knee to the neck, bounces PFAB off the top turnbuckle. And Alexa Bliss now with a flying cross body.
Just cooking with gas and right up there. Hold on.
Jade Cargill now. Kick to Bliss.
And that was behind the referee's back. A smart move by Jade Cargill, who realized her team needed something. They needed a little injection in this one because they were getting eaten alive.
I'm always impressed with the poise of Jade Cargill. Now toe-to-toe with one of the all-time greats in Charlotte Flair. Feel a collision is coming at some point between these two.
Oh man, what an epic showdown this could be.
And a cheap shot by Cargill to the WWE Champion. That drew Charlotte's attention, and it allowed Michin to attack from behind. Great teamwork by Jade and company.
Yeah, absolute incredible quarterbackship there from from Jade Cargill, causing the distraction and giving her team the upper hand finally in this one.
Well, you know, PFAB and Michin, they also have a score to settle. They lost to Charlotte and Alexa a couple of weeks back on Friday Night SmackDown.
So I'll tell you right now, Michin and PFAB, they've waited on the sidelines for a long time here in WWE, and they are done waiting, they're done playing nice. They've got an opportunity, and they're going to make it count every single time.
This has been a meticulous effort by Jade Cargill and company, as Cargill now controls Flair.
Cargill's just been waiting for that right opportunity to strike, and when the moment was there, she did not miss a beat.
Frequent tags now by Michin and company. Cover, hook to the leg, and a kick out by Charlotte. You surprised with how well they're working together? Really, as I mentioned before, the first time they've ever been in a 6-woman tag match together.
Well, we know the caliber of Jade Cargill and what she's done over the past 12 months. The PFAB and Michin deal has been the question, but they are so hungry, so motivated, sick of sitting on the sidelines, and finally they've got that spotlight, and they're not here to make mistakes.
Yeah, they've developed this edge, Wade.
And you've got to do that. When you feel you've tried everything in this industry, you've done what you're supposed to do, and it simply isn't working, then suddenly you've got to change things up and do what you've got to do. Nobody is ignoring PFAB and Michin anymore.
How embarrassing has that have been for Charlotte to look up and see Cargill doing push-ups and talking trash?
Well, that's kind of the MO of Charlotte Flair. She's the one who likes to strut, who likes to style and profile in the face of her opponents. Well,
off
not
the
tonight.
suplex, here's the cover, and Charlotte's got to kick out at 2.
And now it may be panic stations for Alexa Bliss and Rhea Ripley. watching Charlotte slowly getting decimated and controlled by Michin.
Michin's the real deal, martial arts expert, submission specialist as well. One of the baddest women in the locker room here in WWE.
And an absolute veteran of this industry who simply hasn't been given enough respect over the past couple of years, while she's now beating that respect into the very top tier of the women on Raw and SmackDown.
And you can see the concern on the faces of both Alexa Bliss and Rhea Ripley. Charlotte desperately needs to make a tag. The Queen trying to fight out. Creating some space. Michin rocks Charlotte with the right.
Just taking that momentum away from Charlotte Flair. There's your taunting once again, Cole.
Learn that from Jade. Oh! Down goes Charlotte quickly into the cover. Is it enough to put her away? Hook to the leg by Michin, and a kick out at 2 by Flair.
And now questions are being asked of Michin. How deep can you dig? How deep is your playbook here when the big things you're trying simply haven't been enough to put Charlotte Flair away? What else have you got?
Wait, I always thought Michin was one of the most underrated stars on the roster, now forming this alliance with Cargill.
Yeah, you're only ever as big as your opportunities in this game, Cole, and quite frankly, Michin hasn't had enough of those. But that opportunity may be about to go begging.
And BFAB in off the tag, trying to prevent Charlotte from making the tag to her corner, dragging Charlotte back to the middle of the ring. Charlotte with the right hand. She's an arm's length away from Rhea now. Again, trying to get to Rhea Ripley and make the tag to the champion.
And there's a big shot for BFAB, not letting go. Make no mistake, BFAB is a street fighter. And there's a little taste of that.
Yeah, but you got it. Oh, and both women delivering kicks at the same time. Collision, middle of the ring. Impressed with BFAB, though, not allowing Charlotte to make the tag. Rhea Ripley dying to get into this matchup.
Yeah, this could be a pivotal moment. 2 women down, and who desperately needs this tag in the worst way here? It's Charlotte Flair, and Mami is itching to get into this one.
BFAB reaching out, makes the tag. Here comes Michin. Here comes Rhea. And this place is exploded.
Oh, and the jaw of Jade Cargill might have just exploded.
Ripley wiping out Michin with a clothesline. The focused intensity of Rhea Ripley. Face first goes Michin.
Just raw power, speed,
Drop kick.
and precision, all in sync for Rhea Bloody Ripley.
Ripley's got it all. She's the total package. The 4-time world champion.
Got a history of leaving a path of broken bodies in her wake, and this does not bode well for Michin. It needs to come up with something fast.
They launched Rhea out to the apron, but Rhea able to counter. Now up to the top rope goes Ripley. Rhea from up top, missile drop kick.
Beautiful.
Michin may be down and out. Covered now by the champion. And a kick out at 2 by Michin. Jade Cargill.
And Jade would not have made that. Jade was... how well-rounded is Rhea Bloody Ripley? That is cruiserweight style from a true powerhouse athlete in Rhea Ripley, who can do it all in that ring.
Yeah, Michin kicking out to save the matchup for her team. Now Ripley looking for Riptide. Her bread and butter move here. Michin trying to fight out of it. Cargill in. Rhea Ripley heads her off.
Rhea Ripley cleaning everyone out on her own. The rest of her team down, maybe out.
Yeah, Michin taking advantage, looking for eat defeat. Rhea Ripley with a headbutt.
Nothing pretty about that. This, however,
went for Riptide. Michin able to land on her feet. Rhea caught her.
a nasty landing there for Michin, but effective anyway.
And Rhea's got a kick out at 2.
That has to be frustrating for Michin. Thought she pulled off a miracle there.
This was nasty.
Yeah, head first for Rhea Ripley. Both women taking a nasty landing there, but Ripley the first one to bounce back with that capoeira-style kick.
Now trying to Drag herself to her partner, Alexa Bliss, and here comes Bliss. Alexa Bliss takes Michin for a ride. A DDT. Cover by Alexa. Kick out by Michin at 2.
Just different questions now being asked by Alexa Bliss, who has a completely different style to the rest of her teammates, but desperation move from Michin, and it worked.
And now B-Fab caught by Bliss. Here's her sister Abigail. B-Fab, though, nice roll-up. Kick right to the midsection. DDT plants her. Cover now. Bliss kicks out at 2.
Well, B-Fab is shocking a lot of people tonight with her abilities. Open your eyes, everyone. B-Fab is the dime that does the deals, and she can get it done.
Michin now in off the tag. Double team coming. And Bliss able to counter into a double DDT. Charlotte Flair back up on the apron.
Bliss is hurting in a big way, though. Those ribs might be bust.
Tag. Here comes the Queen with a crossbody. Listen to this place. Michin dropped right on the back of her head.
What a German suplex. Charlotte Flair just has physical gifts you cannot manufacture.
And now's got Michin in position. Looking for the figure 4 to bridge to the figure 8, but Michin able to counter. Charlotte almost running into Rhea.
The tension between the two stars. Oh!
Michin blasting Ripley off the apron. And Michin now has hooked Charlotte up. Styles clash, paying homage to her former running buddy AJ Styles, the Hall of Famer. Cover, Rhea Ripley. And that running knee breaks things up.
Well, Ripley saving things for her team and indeed for Charlotte Flair, her rival. And things break.
Oh! Cargill taking advantage of a car wreck.
Not the time to celebrate.
And that slap.
Cargill just ate that slap.
Charlotte with a big boot.
The referee has now lost complete control of this one. Chaos reigning supreme.
And the two besties, the former tag champs. Well, that cost them. And now everybody down.
Simply cannot celebrate too early at this level. Got to keep your eyes peeled. Stay focused on the prize. Get the job finished. Well, absolute carnage from the word go this matchup has been.
Charlotte and Michin trying to struggle back to their feet. Jade Cargill, who, remember, Saturday night's main event back in November, won the WWE Championship at this event. Would go on to lose it to Ripley at WrestleMania. And now Jade is legal off the tag. Charlotte Flair gonna make the tag to Ripley. And now the matchup we'll see a week from Sunday. Clash in Italy. Ripley, Jade Cargill unfolding on our screens right now.
What the world's been waiting for.
Ripley gaining the upper hand. Cargill went for the pump kick. Ripley with a headbutt. Rhea, riptide. Michin breaks things up.
Just expert timing from Michin, and it had to be. How is Michin still going with the abuse she's taken? That may have dropped her.
Oh, and a big kick by B-Fab. Drops Alexa Bliss. Focusing now on Rhea Ripley. Charlotte back to her feet with a kick.
Saving Rhea Ripley in the process. Tensions may be dissipating between these two.
Going for the handshake, but Michin was trying to sneak attack, and Ripley made her pay for it.
Well, Ripley may have just saved Charlotte in response. Is this the beginning of something beautiful, Cole?
Double chops. Double fall-away slams.
And suddenly they're a team.
A very dangerous team if they put their differences aside. And Alexa Bliss getting hit on the hug as well.
Well, the plan worked for Alexa Bliss. She glued these two together.
From behind, Jade Cargill wiping everybody out, interrupting the party. Kick to Ripley. Cargill hooking Ripley. Jaded. Cover. Cargill has pinned the WWE champion.
Here are your winners, BFAB, Michin, and Jade Cargill.
Wade for the second straight night. Jade Cargill has hit Ripley with Jaded. And will that be the case a week from tomorrow at Clash in Italy with the WWE title on the line?
Well, it just goes to show you, no matter how impressive Jade Cargill has been over the past 12 months, there is a new motivation, a new focus since dropping the gold. And week after week, she has had the answers for Rhea Ripley. Well, this is the moment. It all looked golden for Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, but they took their eye off the ball.
Take your eye off Jade Cargill when Jade Cargill is capable of this, and most importantly of all, this, Jaded. And if Jade Cargill connects with that next week at Clash in Italy, we will have a new women's WWE champ.
Wade, is Cargill in Ripley's head now?
Absolutely. How can you not be? Nobody treats Cargill, nobody treats Ripley the way Cargill has done over the past 3 weeks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is a star-studded night here at Saturday night's main event. It's the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. The champs, Scream Mode, Paige and Brie Bella, defend against the former champions, the Irresistible Forces, tonight. Sol Ruca on the left looks to shut up big-time Becky Lynch, and perhaps earn a future Intercontinental Championship opportunity. These two lock horns tonight. The World Tag Team titles will be contested. The Vision's Logan Paul and Austin Theory defend the gold against the 3-time Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, all on Saturday night's main event. And the Intercontinental Champion, Penta, is here. The Magnificent One will defend the Intercontinental title tonight against All Ego Ethan Page. Our own Kathy Kelly is standing by with the #1 contender to the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. I am here with Ethan Page. And Ethan, tonight, under the prestigious lights of Saturday night's main event, you step into the biggest opportunity of your career against Penta. So how determined are you to walk out of here as the new Intercontinental Champion?
Short answer, very. Let's touch on this biggest night of your career nonsense. It's not nonsense, it is. But it's also the biggest night of your career. No. You get to interview Ethan Page on the last night without the Intercontinental Championship. Hell, it's the Intercontinental Championship's biggest night of its career. The belt itself. Because it finally gets the spotlight it oh so ever deserves. No thanks to you, champ. Hey, Penta, the spotlight's on the championship because of All Ego Ethan Page, and you're a hell of a champ. Fighting champion. There's a reason you're Intercontinental Champion. That reason is for tonight. To hand me that championship in the middle of the ring at Saturday night's main event.
Ethan Page and Penta for the Intercontinental title later tonight. Also a massive match coming up next as the newcomer Sol Ruca looks to perhaps position herself for a future championship opportunity as she battles the current Intercontinental Champion, big-time Becky Lynch. You gotta give Sol Ruca credit. She forced the issue, got the match.
Please join me in welcoming the newest member of Monday Night Raw, Sol Ruca.
Here is a young woman who has only been wrestling for 4 years. She was part of the NIL program.
It is going to feel so damn good when I sign this.
The man has come around to Sol Ruka's contract signing.
I think you've bitten off more than you can chew, and I think you should get going. I think you should be gone. Go back to NXT.
Well, Becky, not everything is about you.
Actually, everything is about me,
Well,
and
not
it's
this. You are exactly what everyone says that you are. Rude, big-headed, bitch. One thing about me is I am damn good at proving people wrong.
You're not ready for this, and I think you really need to go and think about it. Many people have stepped to me. They thought they were ready for the spotlight, and the fall from grace has been astounding.
Becky Lynch again on top of the world.
If you are ready, then I will face you at Saturday night's main event. You have to remember, I'm not just a star maker, I'm a star breaker.
I'll see you at Saturday night's main event, and I snatch your soul again.
You see if you're ready to step in the ring with me. Welcome to the big time.
I am here with Sol Ruka, and Sol, you've been touted as one of the most anticipated call-ups, but still some say that you're not ready for a match of this magnitude against one of the all-time greats, Becky Lynch. But I have to ask you, do you feel ready?
I think the real question is if Becky's ready. All she's done since I've gotten to Raw is underestimate me. Now I know she is one of the all-time greats, so I'm definitely not taking this match lightly. But, you know, she can underestimate me all she wants, because all it's gonna take is one soul snatcher, and she's gonna know that the next generation is here. And we're not just gonna sit around and wait to share the spotlight. No. We're here to snatch it.
Well, good luck.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Honolulu, Hawaii, Sol Ruka.
Well, Wade, Sol Ruka snatched the spotlight back at our last Saturday night's main event in December. The night that Sol Ruka took on the legendary Bayley and pulled one of the biggest upsets we've ever seen on Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, incredibly impressive, as Sol Ruka has been for the past couple of years in NXT. Here's my question, though. When you finally grab that spotlight for good, you get called up to Raw, and then you follow it up with 0 wins, are you really eligible to compete against a star the level of a Becky Lynch?
We'll answer that question in a moment.
It's a big time Saturday night's main event because it's featuring big time Bex, the greatest female wrestler of all time. And it's not just me saying it, other people are saying it, everybody's saying it. Sports Illustrated says it, the Bleacher Report says it, and everyone in Fort Wayne is gonna say it.
The man has come around.
And her opponent from Dublin, Ireland, she is the Women's Intercontinental Champion, the man, Becky Lynch.
Oh, listen, if Becky Lynch really does believe all that hype, then perhaps she should have put the Intercontinental Championship on the line tonight. Listen, Sol Ruka took the world champion Liv Morgan to the limit. She took Io Sky to the limit. She beat Bayley. She should have an opportunity, in my estimation.
No, I don't agree with you whatsoever. Look, there is a lot of hype about Sol Ruca. There is a lot to like about Sol Ruca. Is she at the level she should be competing for gold just because she has to? Absolutely not. You're right. She's looked very good against some top stars. But this is a results business. The results, Michael Cole, have not been there for Sol Ruca.
Oh, did I mention she finished third in the Royal Rumble?
So she didn't win once again. Congratulations, you get nothing for third. She could have come second. You get nothing for second. You know who did come second? Tiffany Stratton. She wasn't even on WrestleMania. It's a results business. Win or go home.
The official in this matchup, the woman who has been a thorn in Becky Lynch's side, Jessica Carr.
Good grief.
And Becky Lynch with a cheap shot, throwing the title at Sol Ruca, and now attacking the rookie. This matchup hasn't even started yet. The official admonishing Becky Lynch.
Well, she'd have admonished Becky Lynch regardless of what she'd done. We know what Fast Count Car's all about.
Well, Becky Lynch looking to wear down Ruca before the bell even rings, Wade.
Well, you've got to have your wits about you as a competitor. Sol Ruca proving to me she's just not ready for this level. She didn't.
And Sol Ruca now taking the fight to Becky Lynch and fired up tonight. The official calls for the bell, and we're underway.
That was a cheap shot from Sol Ruca.
Oh, please. Becky Lynch stuttered all this when she threw the title at her. And now Sol Ruca taking Becky for a ride with a face plant. Ruca, so athletic. 4 years in the business. Oh, look at that. That springboard corkscrew cross body. The agility, the quickness of Ruca.
Well, this is the kind of thing that has made the world catch fire when it comes to Sol Ruca. Incredibly impressive. Getting over the line's another thing, but this is a hell of a start from Sol Ruca.
Ruca now off the top rope, lands on her feet, delivers a clothesline. And Becky Lynch, the veteran, wisely going to roll out of the ring to try to regroup.
Well, it was a kamikaze-style attack from Sol Ruca, but it did work, and Becky Lynch is in big trouble in the early goings here.
And look at Ruca, University of Oregon. She was a acrobatics and tumbling expert at niche sport at Oregon, and showing that off here tonight. And Becky Lynch knew she was going to get this barrage from Ruca. That's why she cheap-shotted her before the match even began.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. That was teaching Sol Ruca a lesson in respect, but unfortunately the lesson has been thrown back in the face of Becky Lynch. And I don't think anyone can compete with this level of athleticism we're seeing from Ruca.
Looked like maybe she was going for the soul snatcher, and Becky Lynch looking now for the manhandle slam, and Sol Ruca able to counter with a deep arm drag.
Ruca is just too fast. Becky Lynch has lost her seat at this point.
Yeah, this is an incredibly important matchup for Ruca. She looks to rise in the ranks on Monday Night Raw. Becky catches her with a boot to the face.
Finally, a little breathing room for the champ here, but...
You said what?
A little breathing room for the champ.
And look at this. Becky Lynch just grabbed the official, threw her right into Sol Ruca.
Sol Ruca just soul snatched the referee.
Well, she didn't get all of it.
That's a disqualification.
But I get the point. Becky Lynch pulled the official
well, what a cheap
into
shot
Ruca as she
from
was attempting that soul snatcher.
Don't twist this. That was Sol Ruca. Here we go. And disqualification. Thank you very much.
Your winner by disqualification, Sol Ruca.
What?
Sol Ruca picks up the victory tonight. No. The official was wise to it. Becky Lynch dragging Jessica Carr in front of Ruca as she was going to attempt a soul snatcher. That collision cost Becky the match.
Hold on, Lillian Garcia just said the wrong name. How did Becky Lynch get disqualified there?
Because she pulled the official in front of the opponent?
It was
Come on, Wade, open your eyes.
The person who connected with the move was Sol Ruca.
Well, disappointment by Ruca, who I think came up on a bum ankle. And now, from behind with the title, Becky Lynch with another ambush, another cheap shot.
More like it. Teach these kids.
And a manhandle slam.
A lesson in respect.
Becky Lynch pummeling Ruca.
I mean, you pummel a referee, you deserve a beat down in my book.
And Becky with yet another manhandle slam. Becky has completely lost it. Even going after officials now.
Well, just like Sol Ruka did moments ago, Cole. You seem to be okay with that.
Again, off a third manhandle slam. It was the referee, Jessica Carr, who was pulled into the fray by Becky Lynch.
Well, Becky Lynch just exposed a rookie as in over her head. Welcome to the big-time Sol Ruka.
I look at it the other way. I think that Becky Lynch is running scared. She's afraid Sol Ruka was going to take her spot, and she did everything she could to prevent that from happening tonight. I don't know about you, but I'm absolutely disgusted with the actions of Becky Lynch tonight. So unbecoming of the Intercontinental Champion.
Ethan Page, you keep talking about my title, but tonight, stop talking and fight me. I am the Intercontinental Champion. I fight with fire. I fight with pain. And I never back down. La diferencia entre tú y yo es que tú eres un payaso arrogante presumido. Y yo peleo por mi gente y por mi campeonato. Ethan Page, tonight you will learn why Penta tiene solo miedo.
Ladies and gentlemen, the spectacular Penta will once again defend the Intercontinental Championship tonight against the upstart, all-ego Ethan Page, who claims he is going to put fear into Penta. It's for the Intercontinental Championship, the historic Intercontinental title.
A symbol that has changed throughout the years, yet remains timeless. With a storied past steeped in tradition for nearly half a century, the Intercontinental Championship has stood as a pillar of excellence.
This is beyond wrestling ability. This is guts personified right now.
Earned by those destined for greatness.
I've got nothing except the Intercontinental Championship, the most important thing in the world to me.
No one ever said being the Intercontinental Champion was going to be easy, but Rocky Maivia will always give 110%.
A championship that signifies pride and prestige, serving as a catalyst to superstardom, iconic moments, and Hall of Fame careers. As a new generation rises to seize its place in history, the legacy continues. Tonight, another chapter in the enduring lineage of the Intercontinental Championship will be written, as the high-flying Penta collides with the hungry ambition of Ethan Page in pursuit of one of the most celebrated championships in history.
With Club WWE, you're at the front of the line every time. You'll be notified of merchandise drops before anyone else and given your own personal early access, including exclusive merchandise and items not available anywhere else. Like my Never Seen 17 collection. Plus, you'll receive discounts on purchases. This is the epicenter of fandom. This is Club WWE. Become the ultimate insider.
August. From the home of the Minnesota Vikings. 2 epic nights of WWE SummerSlam.
Welcome, everyone, to the biggest event of the summer.
Are you ready? SummerSlam, Saturday, August 1st and Sunday, August 2nd.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Saturday night's main event. Visit Fort Wayne in Indiana Sports Corp welcomes you back to an unforgettable night of WWE action. Find more things to do around town at visitfortwayne.com. Oh, moments ago, Becky Lynch, Sol Ruca, one-on-one. Sol Ruca going for a soul snatcher in the corner. Becky Lynch grabs the official, Jessica Carr, pulls her in the way. Sol Ruca can't hit the soul snatcher.
So the offense against the official in many people's books would be that Sol Ruca gets disqualified. However, that was not the case. Becky Lynch was disqualified, and of course, she didn't take that well at all, issuing a major beatdown to the newcomer, Sol Ruca, and teaching a little respect to the upstart.
Yeah, what it seems like to me is Becky Lynch maybe running a bit scared of Sol Ruca and what she may be able to accomplish on Monday Night Raw.
Nick, just the man that I wanted to see. Did you see that? They disqualified me. I'm not the one who hit the referee.
Well, I did see what happened, and so did your friend of mine, Adam Pearce, who I just got off the phone with. And based on what just happened, he asked me to tell you that as a result, you will now face Sol Ruca once again next Sunday at Clash in Italy.
But what, for what purpose?
Oh, for what purpose? To defend the Intercontinental Championship, of course.
What? This is a level of corruption unseen before.
I doubt Becky Lynch was prepared for that one, but a massive title match set for Clash in Italy. Speaking of massive title matches, the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. Paige and Brie Bella defending against the former tag team champion.
Kathy, that's where you're wrong. Okay, after tonight, we're gonna make sure former is no longer in front of tag team champions.
Look, Paige and Brie might have been great in their prime, but it's time to end this whole nostalgic tour for good, because we're younger, we're bougier, and we look way better with the titles.
We're taller, we're stronger, we're better. Paige and Brie, we are gonna make history tonight by making you history.
The Women's Tag Team Championship on the line later tonight, but let's head out to the action.
Can't wait for that matchup. Time now for the Intercontinental Championship. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we discuss All Ego Ethan Page, I do want to thank you all for joining us on this Memorial Day weekend, and we all at WWE would like to offer a big thank you to all those who've served and those who've given the ultimate sacrifice in the defense of all of our freedoms. All Ego Ethan Page, Wade, says when he wins tonight, he is going to rename the prestigious Intercontinental Championship the Ethan Page Championship. That is how confident this man is.
Yeah, confidence personified, because he knows full well that he is razor sharp mentally. He is the most intelligent superstar in the locker room. And if anyone can, he can figure out how to outmaneuver and outthink the champ Penta.
I agree with everything you said, Wade, about this guy. I just think that his ego's going to get him in trouble. Had an interesting interview with him on Monday Night Raw. I told him to his face, I think he has everything it takes to be an all-time great in WWE, but he's got to get out of the way of his own ego.
Yeah, well, I like the way he gave you notes for that said interview on Raw, because it was actually ended up being the greatest interview of your career. So congratulations, Michael Cole, and of course, major assist from All Ego Ethan Page.
The man who has no fear. The Intercontinental Champion, Penta. However, Ethan Page claims that he is going to put fear into the vocabulary of the champ. Penta won the Intercontinental Championship just a couple of hours down the road here in Indiana, in Indianapolis. He's had a number of title defenses, including the classic six-pack ladder match at WrestleMania. Wade, Penta is the real deal.
Yes, he is, and from day one when he arrived on Raw, there's been no looking back for the WWE Universe, who've just fallen in love with this barrier-breaking charisma of his and his jaw-dropping aerial abilities. And nobody yet has quite figured out how to stop Penta when he hits top speed. If anyone can, though, it will be Ethan Page.
Wait, my question is this. Ethan Page actually pinned Penta in a tag team matchup a few weeks back. Does that come into play at all in this matchup tonight?
Yeah, well, that's basically the entire reason why Ethan Page finds himself in this big opportunity right now. That has to be in the head of Penta, albeit in tag conditions. It's a little different in singles. I think they just singed my eyebrows, Cole. That should be banned.
Ethan Page looked a bit out of sorts when he was watching that moments ago.
Yeah, where was Ethan Page's pyro? Well, actually, when he becomes the Intercontinental Ethan Page champion, then he will get pyro, and it will be better than Penta's, I promise you that.
Let's head up to the ring now, and our trailblazing ring announcer, Lillian Garcia.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the Intercontinental Championship. Introducing first, the challenger from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, weighing in at 240 pounds, All Ego, Ethan Page. And his opponent, from Ecatepec, Mexico, weighing in at 87 kilos, he is the Intercontinental Champion, Penta!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, history, well, if you believe history, it's not going to be kind to All Ego Ethan Page here tonight. This is the 17th time the Intercontinental Championship's been defended on Saturday night's main event, the program which started back in 1985. Wade, over the years, there's only been one title change at Saturday night's main event back in 1992. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, beating the British Bulldog.
Well, history is there to be rewritten, and Ethan Page is no spring chicken. He's not brand new to this industry, even though a lot of our fan base might just be getting acquainted to him. He is a veteran, and he's already figured out how he's going to conquer Penta.
I was going to ask you, Wade, what is the strategy tonight for Page to take the title from Penta?
Well, it has to be to outsmart and outmaneuver Penta. You simply cannot live with Penta's speed and jaw-dropping ability. You have to figure out a shortcut path to winning that goal. Now, what that answer is, I'm not smart enough to tell you, but I know a man who is, and his name is Ethan Page.
Number of standing switches to start this matchup. Elbows now from the champ Penta. How does Penta keep his title?
He does what he does best. He uses that astonishing aerial ability and speed like that to catch Ethan Page napping.
First time these two men have ever gone one-on-one. Ethan Page, I've talked about this before, he's deceptively large, Wade. He's also very, very quick, and he's powerful.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But his biggest asset, of course, is the power of that brain, and immediately sidestepping Penta there. A step ahead of what Penta was about to try, regardless of how quick Penta is, shows you exactly the pathway that Ethan Page has to victory.
And Penta now will send Ethan Page toward the corner with a run. And Penta with a clothesline, and now Penta starting to build up some momentum. Backbreaker delivered.
Yeah, and here's part of the problem with Penta. You know what he's going to do, but he's so quick at doing it, you still can't stop it, no matter how much you've studied him.
And Ethan Page with a drop kick. Drags the champ to the center of the ring, and now gonna mount and pound away.
Yeah, that was a nice burst of speed there from Ethan Page. Pinpoint accuracy on the drop kick. And now you have Penta grounded. You have to keep him there.
An interesting note about the city we're in tonight, Wade, Fort Wayne, Indiana. This is where the game, the Hall of Famer Triple H, won his first ever Intercontinental Championship.
We saw that package earlier, the list of greats who've held that title. It is a pathway to the very top of the industry, and Ethan Page knows that full well. He's in a hurry to get to the top.
And look at this now, Page into the corner, bounces head first off the turnbuckle. And now Penta, look at the agility of this man, and the balance, went for the arm drag. Page able to stop him just for a moment, but a kick to the face.
That's part of the problem for Page here. You take your eye off the ball for a split second like he did, and suddenly back to 100 miles an hour is Penta.
And here comes Penta now. Baseball slide through the bottom. Page misses wildly. Penta with a kick to the face of Ethan Page. And the WWE Universe, wait a minute, Penta blocks right onto our announce table.
And that was the lower spine of Penta catching the edge of our announce table. And let's see how quick he can move after that.
The official Eddie Arango at 4, but here's the issue for Page. He can't take a count-out victory and win the title. He's got to pin or submit Penta here.
And that's why he's keeping a close eye on Penta, and he's going to make sure he's stopping the referee. How smart was that from Ethan Page?
Extremely smart. Champion's advantage for Penta here tonight.
Yeah, not getting carried away with just winning this match. I want to win and go home with the gold. I like that from Page.
And now Penta sent face first into the steel post. Ethan Page, I don't know if you noticed, Wade, but his entire complexion changed moments ago.
Yeah, suddenly smells blood in the water. And whatever game plan he came in with now can be fully executed.
Wade, you're a former 5-time Intercontinental Champion. As we take another look here at Penta landing on our announce table. How important was it for you in your career the first time you won gold, the Intercontinental title?
Yeah, that solidified in the minds of myself and indeed management in WWE that I could be a player at the top stage.
Will it be Page? Kick out at Penta.
And it really is Ethan Page's opportunity now to put himself in that conversation. When they're putting cards together for the big shows, for SummerSlam, for the Royal Rumble, for WrestleMania. You're a guy with gold. You're one of the guys who are first on the list to get on that card. That puts you in the upper echelon in the conversations of the top brass.
You know, Penta, former AAA Mega Champion, AAA action immediately following Saturday night's main event. We'll get into all that. Big matchup. Talk about that a little bit later on. Penta now and Page battling out for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, we got to see a different side of Penta here. We need the gritty side. The high-flying flash stuff ain't going to get it done at this point, not with a busted back. And Page knows full well a boot to the face is not going to keep Penta down. It's a test. How much does Penta have left in his system? How much more pressure do I have to apply to really finish the job?
Well, the one thing I've learned about this man over the last year and a half here in WWE is that resilience is Penta's middle name. Just when you think he's down and out, he digs down deep and he's able to fight back. Just like Penta's showing here. Page, though, has stood toe-to-toe with the champion.
Penta consistently fights with so much pride, so much intensity, and he's going to need all of that at this point in the match.
Penta kick to the hamstring. He's got Page down. Now, there's the sling blade, and now Penta's starting to take over.
Yeah, that is a tide-turning maneuver. Face first off the canvas. And right now, the smarts of Ethan Page have completely dissipated.
Penta, that step up enziguri to the ear. Drops Penta in the corner. I should say Page in the corner. As Penta now goes into his handstand. Bang, right to the chest.
And here's the issue for Page. He's got no clue where he's at. All thoughts of any strategy have gone completely out the window now. And Penta with a major upper hand.
Tope con hilo! Caught Page in the back of the neck.
Oh, but that landing for Penta was not pretty at all. Perhaps re-aggravating that lumbar spine injury he got earlier when he landed on this desk. Take another look at this. It was a beautiful dive, but the landing for Penta was almost as bad as the one Ethan Page received. That's why they say high risk, high reward.
Referee Eddie Arango at a count of 6 now. Again, count out doesn't do Ethan Page any good. Penta would keep the title. Page now sent back into the ring. Penta up to the apron.
Penta simply does not want to win that way. Not that kind of performer. Wants to win with conviction.
Penta now, top rope, cross body. What a collision. He hit Page high.
Yeah, caught him right in the face. Unique application of the high cross body.
Yeah, but look at Page fighting back.
Page completely wobbled, almost fighting blind at this point, but he's still ticking.
Yeah, former NXT champion, longest reigning NXT North America champion of all time, AAA mixed tag champ.
And this is where you learn the most about a competitor. You're hurting, you're digging deep. How deep can you dig with gold on the line and the world watching? Well, a lot of souls get broken and they give up.
And Penta sends Page to the middle of the ring.
Such a unique attack. Page tried to block the kick. It was never a kick.
Springboard DDT. Cover by Penta. Page is still in it. Well, Ethan Page has been impressive.
He's been incredible, and clinging on at this point is even more impressive. And right now, it's this athleticism that has come to the fore from Penta once again. And Page seems to have no answer whatsoever.
I said before, Page is a future champion here. It could come as soon as tonight as these two men battle for the Intercontinental title. Dozens of Hall of Famers have held this gold over the years. Penta maybe going for the Penta driver, but Page able to counter.
One move he clearly had well scouted. That's the danger move if you're Ethan Page. Connect with that and it may be over.
Page caught him right in the side of the head. And now Ethan Page up and down, off the slam, cover for the win. Penta kicks out at 2.
Well, Page now showing the world his durability too. Not just a brain, just a major tough guy too.
Yeah, but now he's going to have to use his brain. He's going to have to figure out how does he put Penta away. Has not been able to do it yet. Penta keeps fighting back in this match.
Yeah, and I love the goal being presented at ringside there. Any fighter in that ring who needs added motivation this deep into the match, just take one glance at that sparkling championship, knowing what it will do for your career if you can grab it tonight.
Will Penta's reign continue? Will this be a career-defining moment for Ethan Page? Backstabber! Backstabber by Penta. Another near fall.
Once again, it's that nimbleness of Penta that is causing so many problems for Ethan Page, as it has done the entire roster that Penta has got in the ring with it.
Yeah, it's that highly unorthodox offensive style.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, it's one thing performing like that in Mexico with that style. You come to the US, stars just aren't trained to compete at that level. And of course, Ethan Page from Canada is in that same boat.
We're sold out tonight, nearly 11,000 on hand in Fort Wayne, Indiana for Saturday night's main event. It's been a great show so far, and Penta and Ethan Page putting on a show of their own. And Page now getting the upper hand of the champ.
Yeah, slugfest.
Ooh,
I'm going to back Page in that scenario. Bigger, stronger superstar.
Super kicks galore. Forearm delivered by Page. Kicks from both men, and both men are down. Critical moment now in this match.
Well, fighting spirit on full display from both men. But speed of recovery has to be crucial at this point.
Penta now trying to make it back to his feet and regroup, as is Page. Page in a vulnerable position right now, though. Penta with a kick to the face. That super kick by Penta. Oh, and Ethan Page! Ethan Page with a confidence breaker! A confidence breaker to the champion! And a kick out by Penta at 2!
Oh, agonizingly close to a new Intercontinental Champion, Ethan Page. Amazing smarts of mind from him.
And now Page looking to hook him up for the Egoplex, but Penta able to counter. And Penta now. Penta's driver. Is it enough for Penta to retain the title? Page kicks out.
Well, hats off to Ethan Page, because this one was as good as over. Connected with a Penta driver. How many times have we seen Penta put people away with that? Not tonight. Not with a highly motivated Ethan Page. In what may be so far the best performance of Ethan Page's career, but it won't be worth a damn thing if he can't finish the job.
Now Penta looking to put Page away for good. Page slowly back to his feet. Penta was looking for the Mexican Destroyer. Page caught him with a knee.
Well, Page fighting on instincts now, and those instincts are A+.
What is Page going to do here now? Both of these men have got to be physically exhausted.
Get your opponent worn down. You've got him seeing stars. You have to pull out something quick and something devastating, but this may be backfiring for Ethan Page.
Page now grabbing the mask of Penta, putting Penta in position now. Page with an avalanche slam from the second rope. Cover. Penta's still in it, and Page can't believe it.
While throughout Ethan Page's career, he has never faced somebody with this depth of ability and resilience, and the frustration just boiling over. Now, what the hell do I have to do?
No, he's got to be careful there. He's got to be careful. Disqualification doesn't help. Ethan Page has lost it. He has hit Penta with everything. The avalanche slam. He hit him with a confidence breaker. He went for the Egoplex. And now Page looking to expose the steel turnbuckle, and the official caught him.
Oh, here we go.
And wait a minute, as Eddie Orengo goes after the turnbuckle pad, Page pulls one off in the other corner.
Well, that's called outsmarting the referee.
Penta into the steel. Page rolls him up. Shoulders are down. Penta kicks out at 2.5.
How the hell did Penta kick out? He may have a cracked sternum from that. Take 2.
Penta able to block Page, shoulder first. Into the exposed steel. Here comes Penta. Mexican Destroyer. Covered by Penta. He retains the title. What a match.
Here is your winner, and still the Intercontinental Champion, Penta!
I think Ethan Page may have outsmarted himself there.
Yeah, undoubtedly, but that was one of the most incredible championship defenses you will see this year. We expect it from Penta, but Ethan Page lived up to his billing as the future here. This was the moment, this avalanche power slam, that he thought he had it done. This was the moment he realized it needed something a little different against Penta. And here was that little different. The exposed turnbuckle behind the referee's back. Chest first into it went Penta. But somehow, remarkably, the toughness of the Mexican superstar Penta was just too much. And then Ethan Page fell on his own sword, followed by this Mexican Destroyer. And it's night time for the challenger, Ethan Page. Not tonight, Ethan, but trust me, one day this man will hold gold, but it ain't tonight. Tonight is all about Penta.
I agree, Wade. Ethan Page is the future champion here in WWE. But still, the Intercontinental Champion, Penta. Let's head backstage to Kathy Kelly.
I'm here with the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Paige and Brie Bella. And guys, I spoke to your competitors earlier tonight, the Irresistible Forces. They said that they are excited to end your, quote, nostalgia tour and noted a considerable strength, size, and age difference. What's your response?
I mean, Kathy, since we've been back, everyone's written us off. Paige came in to help me when Nikki couldn't. And for that, I'm forever grateful. You know, I have Paige's back, and I know Paige has mine. And I get it, we're going into this match as underdogs, but I believe in us because we've beaten them before, and I know we can beat them again.
No, let's just be honest here, Brie, all right? This was never supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to be your tag team champ. This was supposed to be Nikki here. None of this was supposed to happen, but here we are. And on paper, yes, we're the underdogs. We're not supposed to win tonight, but guess what? We're gonna.
Well, I know a lot of people looking forward to that match that wasn't supposed to happen. And let's send it back to Cole and Wade.
So the women's tag team titles will be up for grabs coming up next. Brie and Paige, the champs. Nia and Lash, the challengers. It's next on Saturday night's main event.
This summer, the world arrives. Guarantee your place at the FIFA World Cup when it comes to North America. Elevate every minute of match day and experience the very best of the beautiful game with a ticket-inclusive hospitality package. The countdown to kickoff is on.
Fanatics Fest NYC is back and coming in hot.
Game time, hit the shot and look down at my wrist, it's like it's game time. Know I'm in the field, kicking game, I'm on the main line.
Stacked with WWE superstar appearances too legendary to miss. Thursday, July 16th through Sunday, July 19th at the Javits Center. Tickets on sale now at fanaticsfest.com.
And guess what, folks? That same weekend, Saturday night's main event returns to Madison Square Garden in New York City on July 18th. Saturday night's main event coincides the return of Fanatics Fest New York City 2026 at New York City's iconic Javits Center from July 16th to the 19th. Tickets for Saturday night's main event are on sale now via Ticketmaster. Saturday night's main event will air it live exclusively here on Peacock at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
It's that time! Tonight, we're going for the WWE World Tag Team Championships. The Street Profits versus the Vision. It's been a long time coming. We've been out here putting out babies for 6 months. Now, we about to stack our paper up. About to get that money right and win these tag team championships. You already know that's what we about, baby.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah.
Are you focused?
Oh, yeah, always.
Are you ready?
Always.
Can I trust you?
Yes, sir.
Can I trust you to handle the task at hand?
You already know.
Because you know what the vision is not just one of them.
I know.
It's many of them.
A lot of them.
So all I know, if I can trust you, brother, if I can love you, brother, like I've always been all these years, then tonight truly is that night, like you said. Because ain't nothing changed. The Street Profits are always up. And we want the smoke.
World Tag Team titles on the line later tonight. Right now, it's time for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Well, here are the former tag team champions. The Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax and Lash Legend. They are still stinging over the fact, Wade, they lost the gold because of fatal four-way rules back at WrestleMania.
Yes, they did, and of course it should be noted that they were not pinned in that scenario, so they feel they never lost the gold. Now, they did have a rematch against the champs several weeks ago on SmackDown, a very controversial ending where Paige and Brie used some chicanery behind the referee's back to score the win, and that, of course, has not sat well with the Irresistible Forces whatsoever.
Well, Nia Jax claims they will make Paige and Brie history after this matchup tonight. Very formidable team, most powerful team in the women's division today. And Lash Legends learned so much under the tutelage of Nia Jax. It was a shocker back at WrestleMania. Brie and her sister Nikki were supposed to be a part of the fatal four-way match for the tag titles, but Nikki went down with a severe ankle injury, which brought in the surprise return of the Bella's friend, Paige.
And that is something in addition that has annoyed the Irresistible Forces. Of course, they prepped for Nikki Bella and ended up getting Paige, which they had not prepped for whatsoever. Tonight, a very different story, and I promise you this, Nia Jax and Lash Legend are fully aware of the injury history of their two opponents tonight, especially that neck injury of Paige that once upon a time caused her to retire, and may well look to target that tonight.
Well, you know, Wade, Paige said earlier that no one expected us to be here. No one expected us to be champions, but they've been on a pretty great run as champions, including a matchup against the Judgment Day on Monday Night Raw. Paige and Nikki successfully defending the gold.
Yeah, they are desperate to prove that win was no fluke when they won the gold. I will mention that Judgment Day victory. There was major outside interference in the match. And of course, that has been a running theme when it comes to the women's tag division.
Let's head up to Lillian Garcia.
The following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall. And it is for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Introducing first, the challengers, the team of Lash Legend and Nia Jax, the Irresistible Forces. And their opponents, they are the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Paige, and WWE Hall of Famer, Brie Bella.
It's interesting, Wade. People continue to try to count out the tag team champions, but they keep rising to the occasion. So what do the Irresistible Forces have to do tonight to take the gold?
Well, Lash and Nia can rely on raw power and intimidation. Quite frankly, if you look at either Lash or Nia and you look at their opponents across the ring, you think it is a complete mismatch, and there's no way Brie and Paige can even hurt the Irresistible Forces, but they have to do what they're doing here and use some veteran wiles to try and get an advantage.
Yeah, use the double team to their advantage as well. And Brie and Paige now with that running bulldog delivered to Nia Jax.
And Nia Jax is kind of a cheat code. I agree with what you said there. A double
and a kick out.
Double team approach is absolutely the best way to go. Fast tags, isolate either Nia or Lash, and it appears to be Nia here, and do as much damage as you can as quickly as possible before Nia can recover.
That's what the Hall of Famer Brie Bella is doing here. Coming off the top rope a couple of different times, bringing Nia Jax to her knees. Brie now top rope again. Ooh. Caught by Nia, went to the well just a bit too often there. And a Samoan drop by Nia Jax. Quickly into the cover, first one of the matchup, and a kick out by Brie.
Well, let me tell you, Nia Jax and Lash Legend had a torrid night on SmackDown last night. Lash losing out to Tiffany Stratton in a U.S. title open challenge, and Nia ended up eating a steel post thanks to Chelsea Green, and they have been on the warpath ever since.
Now, what's up with this Chelsea and Tiffany thing?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that one out, but Tiffany seems to be warming to Chelsea.
And now
see where that one goes.
Brie just intercepted by Lash Legend. Missed with the bicycle kick, now into the corner, tag. Here comes Paige. Paige, the former two-time Divas champion, youngest of all time. And again, champs are going to have to keep doing this, Wade, the double team efforts.
Yeah, well, that is clearly what works. 2-on-1 against their opponents tonight may be the only path to victory. And not even a one count. Shows you how tough Lash Legend is.
And Paige distracted by Nia. That cost her. Big pump kick from Lash Legend.
It's those underhanded tactics that Lash and Nia have really made their own over the past several months since linking up.
Kick out that time by the champion Paige.
And suddenly for the champions, things look incredibly bleak. One woman down on the wrong side of the tracks, track between Lash and Nia. And this is where they can really pick up the punishment.
The dominance of Lash Legend. A big splash. Is it enough to win the gold? The official, Dan Engler, right in position, and a kick out again by Paige.
I'll tell you right now, speaking to people in the locker room and indeed people in management, many people see Lash Legend as the absolute future of the women's division in WWE. Of course, there's more growth and development to come, but alongside Nia Jax, she is just getting fast-tracked to the top.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, future champion in our midst, and Nia Jax now just toying with Paige.
Crushing the throat of Paige.
And a cheap shot by Lash. Just a little shove, reminding her, hey, I'm out here.
We talked about that neck injury to Paige earlier, and that is now getting fully exploited by these two powerhouses.
Nia, what a chop.
No, thank you.
That open hand strike by Nia, now just continuing to wear Paige down. And you're right on the numbers with the strategy, Wade.
Well, it's the smarts of Nia. She's been around the block many times in this industry, and you have an opponent with a weakness, you have to go after it. It is such an easy target, and we all know about it with Paige, and there's no hiding it.
Paige sent into the turnbuckle and just collapses in the corner, and now trash-talking Brie.
And look, there's something of a honeymoon period for Paige and Brie Bella. Of course, everybody loved it at WrestleMania. But honeymoon periods come to an end, and it may be coming to an end before our eyes.
Whip into the corner by Legend, who's just toying with Paige now.
Come on.
Bougie bully. And now whipped into the corner is Paige. Easy for me to say. There's the clothesline by Lash. Cover now. Hooks the leg, nonchalant cover, and Paige kicks out at 2.
And this is part of a problem for Lash Legend. She has to stay focused here, getting close to a tag. Of course, a little inexperience from Lash Legend. Just stay focused on your opponent, not the ref. Will frustration kick it in? And that can cost you at this level.
Yeah, taunting Brie with Paige that time. And now Full Nelson applied.
Once again, all the pressure on the neck of Paige. We may be wishing for retirement sooner rather than later.
Face first goes Paige, and she's just being beaten up. There's no other way to describe it by Lash Legend.
Lash has talked about it. I'm younger, I'm healthier, I'm more powerful, I am more dominant, and she's showing all of that right now.
I don't care if you're 100%, you're going to have issues with Lash.
Confidence and charisma off the charts, and when you're built like Lash Legend, why wouldn't you have that?
Nia Jax, a 2-time world champion, a 3-time tag team champion, leading the way for Lash Legend. And now Nia did make the tag, so she's legal, and Lash will have to leave the ring.
And Nia just sees it as a complete affront that they have had tag gold taken away from them. They see themselves as the complete rulers of this division.
They claimed the fatal 4-way rules were not fair. Only gave them a 25% chance to keep the gold. Of course, they didn't. Lash now up over the top. Paige creates some space.
Yeah, just overcommitted on that one. Landed hard on the floor, and Paige, now's your chance, and if you can't take it, you may not get another one.
And Lash Legend not going to allow Paige to crawl across the ring, drags her to her corner, and here comes Nia Jax.
Just been a slow destruction of the entire body of Paige at this point, and Paige looks petrified in that ring, and why wouldn't she be?
Oh, sidesteps. Nia goes shoulder first to the post. An opportunity for Paige to make a tag here. Can she get to Brie Bella? Turning point of the match, and here comes Brie. And it's Brie mode now on Saturday night's main event. Missile drop kick by Brie. And now delivering the yes kicks to Nia Jax. And the last one flooring Jax.
And this is Brie just finding those extra gears that she's renowned for.
Running knees by Brie Bella into the cover. Hooks the leg on Nia. Powers out at 2.
Power is the operative word. So easy for Nia Jax to throw off the body of Brie Bella thanks to that size disparity.
Oh, what a pop-up headbutt. And just like that, Nia Jax has quelled the momentum of Bella. Tag.
It's just 2 classifications
Samoan drop
of athletes here, and it's an unfair fight for Brie Bella.
Lash Legend from the second rope. There's the splash.
Could well have gone for a pin there, perhaps, but...
Well, that might have been the experience kicking in.
Maybe
off that splash, should have went for the pin, I believe, but...
I want to finish this in style, and we've seen this before, Cole, and it is devastating.
Double team coming. Nia Jax from the second rope. Leg drop, driving Brie through the mat. Is it enough? Paige, though, kicks Lash into Nia, breaking up the near fall.
Well, that was just pinpoint timing from Paige there. Knew she wasn't getting to that pin, and used Lash Legend as a bowling ball to break it up and save the gold for herself and her partner, at least for the time being.
Physical matchup. The tag champs are hanging in. Brie Bella trying to make a tag now to her partner, Paige.
Well, both Paige and Brie look broken at this point, but fight with all you've got.
Paige, top rope, caught by Nia Jax. Paige, though, sunset flip, shoulders down. Brie with some help, and they retain.
Here are your winners, and still the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Paige and Brie Bella.
Some ingenuity there by the tag champs. Did what they had to do to keep the gold.
Yeah, by hook or by crook. It always felt like an unfair fight. And this is the moment that it looked like the Irresistible Forces were your new tag champs, but Paige had other ideas. Well, this is where things took a rather odd turn. Sunset flip with an additional amount of leverage from Brie Bella. And we mentioned the chicanery last time these two teams fought. Well, once again by hook or by crook, the tag champs living dangerously go home with the gold, and that will not sit well with the Irresistible Forces.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, they continue to get the job done. Always the underdog, Paige and Brie with yet another win.
Yeah, that was impressive from them. It's so hard to combat athletes that are way bigger and more powerful than you. You have to be a little smart at times, and that's what Paige and Brie did tonight.
Well, thanks for joining us on Saturday night's main event. Monday Night Raw will be in Columbus, Ohio, and then for Wade and I, it's off to Europe for a couple of weeks, including a week from tomorrow. Clash in Italy, coming to an Alpi Arena in Turin, Italy, next Sunday. A reminder, it starts at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific. The first hour comes to you live on ESPN. How about Tribal Combat, where anything goes for the World Heavyweight Championship? Roman Reigns versus his cousin, Jacob Fatu. The winner's the champ. The loser must acknowledge the Tribal Chief.
Well, of course, we saw earlier tonight a disqualification debacle between Becky Lynch and Sol Ruka. Well, GM Adam Pearce has now spoken. The Intercontinental Championship will be on the line between these two when they face off again at Clash in Italy.
The undisputed WWE Championship match. Cody Rhodes will defend the WWE title against the Ring General Gunther. Gunther, who's made Rhodes' life a living hell over the past few weeks, looks to wrestle the title away from the American Nightmare.
And earlier tonight, Jade Cargill scored a major win over Rhea Ripley and seems to have the answer for everything the champ throws at her of late. Can Jade Cargill regain the WWE Women's Championship from the woman who took it off her at WrestleMania, Rhea Ripley, at Clash in Italy?
Also, a week from tomorrow at Clash in Italy, as soon as Oba Femi signs the contract, this will be official. It is a WrestleMania rematch. Oba Femi against the man who shocked the world with his return last Monday night on Raw. Femi, Lesnar, live at Clash in Italy. Well, coming up next on Saturday night's main event, it is the World Tag Team Championship. The Vision, Logan Paul and Austin Theory to take on Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins of the Street Profits. It is for the prestigious World Tag Team titles.
The pursuit of tag team gold has long stood as a symbol of resilience, sacrifice, and brotherhood.
That's tag team experience talking right there.
A cornerstone of competition where success demands far more than talent alone. It's a balance of power, speed, instinct, and strategy, brains, and brawn.
It is electric here, baby. The greatest tag team match I've ever witnessed.
Building a bond forged through trust, where two competitors must move as one.
Great teams are always on the same page.
Because in this division, chemistry is everything.
It's really a pleasure to watch a great wrestling team in action.
One misstep can cost the championship, while perfect unity can create history. All in pursuit of standing above the rest. Tonight, the Vision fights to cement its dominance in this division.
The Vision is ready anytime.
While the Street Profits battle to reclaim championship glory.
And we want the smoke.
Teamwork will mean everything. Unity will determine fate, and success will belong only to those who can prove that they are stronger together.
I'm here with the World Tag Team Champions division, accompanied by Paul Heyman. And Mr. Heyman, the Street Profits have spent years proving themselves as one of the most undeniable tag teams in WWE. What kind of challenge are you expecting from them tonight?
A deniable one. Undeniable, my culture took us. Ladies and gentlemen, the Street Profits will be denied the titles tonight by the reigning, defending tag team champions of the world, Logan Paul and Austin Theory.
I'll tell you what's undeniable, Kathy. It is undeniable that we are the greatest crossover stars in WWE history. That's not the Street Profits. That's us. We are the greatest tag team champions in the history of the world. And guess what? That's not the Street Profits. That's us. And the Street Profits want the smoke. Well, guess what? These tag team titles, they are the smoke. And if you want the smoke, we're gonna bring it to you, because these titles are not for the Street Profits. It's for us, the Fish.
Hey, immediately following Saturday night's main event, don't miss AAA live from Mexico City. Tune in to see Los Americanos take on the Creed Brothers in AAA on Facebook and WWE's YouTube channel, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. And then next Saturday, one of the most anticipated matches in the history of AAA. It's El Grande Americano versus the original El Grande Americano in a mask versus mask match at Noche de los Grandes, live from Monterrey, Mexico at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific on Facebook and WWE's YouTube channel. Did you see that celebration they had for El Grande Americano in Mexico?
Oh man, they love him down. Well, they love one of the two down there.
Very political of you.
Yes.
They want the smoke. I can use some of those solo cups.
What would you put in one of those solo cups, Michael Cole?
Hey, isn't it something to have the Street Profits back in the hunt for the tag team gold?
Oh, hell yeah. It doesn't feel right without these two around. Went a little AWOL for a while. Not quite sure what they're up to. Taking some time off, refreshing, re-energizing, and now they are relaunching an assault for the gold that has been missing from their waist for too long.
But like it or not, they've also found themselves in this issue with the Vision that also involves Seth Rollins, that also involves Braun Breaker. Montez Ford has trust issues with Seth Rollins, as most people do. Angelo Dawkins seems, though, in the past couple of weeks to maybe be extending an olive branch to Seth Rollins, perhaps help him out in this battle with the Vision. Hopefully that doesn't cause issues or strife between Tez and Doc.
Yeah, two different philosophies between these two of late, and you can even go back to last year. There were some tensions, I will say, though. When the bell rings, the Street Profits have always historically got it together and been on point, and they're going to have to be that way tonight if they're going to take gold from the Vision.
Three-time tag team champions, an NXT tag team championship reign as well. But this is their first title match in 7 months. There is no doubt that these two men, Austin Theory and Logan Paul, have grown immensely under the tutelage of the Oracle, Paul Heyman. Just take a look at a recent interview that Austin Theory did with Fox News Wade over the past couple of days when he talked about his partner, Logan Paul. He had high praise for Paul, called him an incredible athlete, says that Paul has set a high bar, high standard here in WWE. He calls both himself and Paul freaks of nature. He said they look like superheroes. They're out here to inspire people. That is the vision of the Vision.
Well, I'm inspired just by looking at their physiques. They look Olympia stage ready, and hats off to the pair of them for getting themselves in such incredible shape. But you're right, they have instilled some prestige and belief back in the Vision that was decimated by some major injuries over the past 6+ months. But grabbing gold made them a force to be reckoned with once again, and they are looking to acquire all power on Raw.
First time ever, these two teams will meet in a traditional tag team match. Let's head up into the ring for our main event with Lillian Garcia.
The following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall. And it is for the World Tag Team Championship. Introducing the challengers at a combined weight of 492 pounds, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, the Street Profits. And their opponents, being accompanied by WWE Hall of Famer, the Oracle, Paul Heyman. Representing the Vision at a combined weight of 440 pounds, they are the World Tag Team Champions, Austin Theory and Logan Paul.
Senior official Chad Patton will work this matchup here tonight for the World Tag Team titles. This is the first time since 1992 that the Tag Team Championship has been on the line at Saturday night's main event. Only one title change in the history of this great franchise. It happened back in 1989, the night the Brainbusters defeated Demolition in a matchup that shocked the world. That's what the Profits hope to do tonight, take the gold from the Vision. Montez Ford, been a bit of a hothead with a hot temper as of late. He'll start things off for his team.
And as you like the philosophy of Montez Ford of late, you call it hot-headed. To me, he's just sick of not having gold, not being the #1 team that we know and love the Street Profits to be. And he wants to be singularly focused on conquering the Vision and getting that gold back.
What an incredible atmosphere here tonight. Nearly 11,000 sold out in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They've been electric all night long. And it'll be Austin Theory starting things off against Montez Ford. Theory, the man who calls himself the Pressure. And Montez Ford from behind. Looking to steal one here, and Theory's got to kick out. Montez Ford that close.
And that shows me Montez Ford is locked in tonight. Unlike Theory and Logan Paul, and some major distractions from this audience.
Well, Heyman's got a job to do now. He's got to get Theory and Logan Paul back into this match. Forget about the 11,000 out there that are all over you. Focus on the task at hand, because you're in there with some great former tag champs.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Joe Hendry has a lot to answer for. There's a lot of signs in this audience saying, fire Logan Paul, which I think is an absolute disgrace.
One of the greatest songs of all time.
No, it's a dreadful song. That's the thing about the Scottish. They're terrible musicians, including Joe Hendry.
I'll watch you play guitar. I wouldn't say too much for your
well,
part.
I'm not the one putting songs out on Raw, am I?
Collar will tie up center of the ring. Side headlock now by Montez Ford. How do the Profits win the titles tonight?
Well, Profits have to get back to what they do best. 10+ years of arguably being the #1 tag team on the planet. Certainly they've had major peaks. They have a bond of brotherhood that completely supersedes anything the Vision have ever put together. And that history should be an advantage for them.
How do Theory and Paul keep the gold?
Well, they've got pure power on their side, and they've got the most important asset in all of WWE, loitering at ringside with a master plan and several more if that first one doesn't work. Paul Heyman. Listen to Heyman and things can't go wrong.
I love that word, loitering. It comes to Paul Heyman. And now Logan Paul, the legal man in this matchup. Paul has made one appearance on Saturday night's main event, and you may remember that one. It was back when Jey Uso was the world champion, and Logan Paul took him to the limit.
Yeah, added to a long list of top stars Logan Paul has taken to the limit, including, of course, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. This is a tag game now, and it's a very different kind of pacing for Logan Paul, and guess what? He excels at this too.
Logan Paul believes in himself, perhaps his biggest attribute.
And I believe in his ability to shock and surprise every time the spotlight is on him.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Stop it, please. I've had enough of Joe Hendry already for one
Look
night.
at Montez Ford. Give up back to his feet. Logan Paul tries to send her to the corner. And the athletic Ford showing off a bit now. Nice deep arm drag takedown and another one. And a drop kick by Montez.
And I got to tell you, I normally hate showing off mid-match, but that from Montez Ford was incredibly smart. Showing off is one thing, getting into the mind of Logan Paul, who looks completely frazzled now, thanks to the antics of Montez, is quite the stunt.
Couple of drop kicks, and now a tag to, I believe, one of the most underrated superstars in WWE today.
Yeah.
Angelo Dawkins face first off the double team, goes Logan.
Yeah, I'll agree with you completely on that. Angelo Dawkins is a slugger. This is a powerhouse athlete who can drop people.
Yeah, but he's
like George Foreman.
He's deceptively quick as well. Montez sends Theory up over the top rope. Logan Paul dropped to the floor below. And the Street Profits right now have taken over.
Well, the Profits are up tonight, aren't they?
Well, they've got the vision all out of sort here. Paul Heyman now looking to regroup with his team.
Yeah, look at the panic in the eyes of Heyman. Look at the panic.
Oh, wait a minute, wait.
Logan
Panic. I think Paul Heyman's saying bye-bye. And the Profits have to pin or submit the champ, so they're not going to let this happen. And the fight is now spilled out into the aisleway.
Oh, we've got a major street brawl on our hands now, and referee is keeping a close watch from a distance. The Profits desperately need to get this one back in the ring.
I'll tell you, Wade, the division's been all out of sorts since the beginning of this match, when this crowd was all over them, and it's just piled up over the past few minutes.
They're just an inexperienced factor as a tag team. They're not as locked in as the Profits have been. And wow!
Well, what a kick. Caught him right on the ear. Dawkins cover to win the gold. Hooks the inside leg. Logan kicks it too.
Yeah, it's very easy to be in the shadow when you're alongside someone as flashy as Montez Ford, but when Dawkins gets going, hey, he's got some of that juice too.
Heyman better do his job, because this team is all out of whack here. Dawkins sent across the ring. Big boot to the face of Logan Paul. Theory tried a cheap shot and he paid for it. Logan Paul, though, with a big uppercut.
Well, what did you just ask for? You asked for Heyman to do? Oh, God! Oh, my God, the biggest puncher in the game just cheap shotted Taz.
Yeah, that titanium-loaded right fist of Logan Paul. And now, mounting Dawkins, and suddenly, just like that, the vision is taken over.
Well, that you asked for a game plan from Paul Heyman. It appears that he just pulled one out the bag.
Again, Logan said, I'm not going to sweat it. A valuable time taken away here as Dawkins can try to regroup.
Well, valuable time. I don't think Dawkins is moving anywhere right now, and Tez cannot even be seen after he got that big slug to the jaw from Logan Paul.
And Logan now, wow. Hardy Boys like and now that double underhook slam by Theory. Cover now, hook of the leg and a kick out by Dawkins.
Yeah, Dawkins is double tough. He's going to absorb a lot of punishment before he goes down for good, but that punishment is coming here. Let's take another look at this splash, assisted by Austin Theory on the outside from Logan Paul, followed up by this butterfly suplex, and Dawkins in big trouble.
And now Theory showing off. Stomp right to the hand. The pressure, as he calls himself, putting the pressure now on Dawkins, and the Vision doing a great job double teaming the Profits.
Dawkins is so powerful, it's tough to keep him down. I mean, you might drop him for a second, but keeping him down another matter entirely. But how quickly did this thing do a complete 180? As did the expression on the face of Paul Heyman.
Yeah, it's been a great week for Paul. We saw the Vision defending the titles tonight. course, the return this past Monday of Brock Lesnar, who will face Oba Femi at Clash in Italy once Oba signs the contract. Can't wait to hear how that whole Brock Lesnar thing came about. We thought he'd been retired for a number since WrestleMania.
Yeah, utterly baffling bait.
Oh, wow! What a clothesline by Logan Paul.
Well, tantalizingly close to that tag was Angelo Dawkins, but setting the trap and pulling the trigger at the right time was Logan Paul.
Paul Heyman out here, big old smile on his face. Loves to see what his Chargers are doing.
This has just been textbook tag work from the champs now, and the Vision are cooking.
They've slowed the Profits down, something that they had to do in this match.
Well, they took the sting out of all that momentum the Profits had early on, all that hype from the crowd, all the adrenaline that was buzzing in the challengers, suddenly completely washed away.
Well, fire Logan. Again, thank you to, look at the signs in the front row. The fire Logan Paul signs. Of course, that hit single by Joe Hendry that's taken the world by storm.
I'll give you a guaranteed way to not get fired. Make sure you keep your hands on championship gold. Simply cannot be let go at that point. Although a tag to Montez Ford here makes that grip on gold slip slightly.
And Logan Paul now sent through the second rope, Angelo Dawkins. And look at Logan. Logan Paul now on the apron, grabbing Montez Ford and not allowing the tag to be made.
Well, as unsporting as it gets, but who cares about sporting when gold is on the line?
Well, as we saw Paige and Nikki do earlier, you do everything in your power to keep the championship. Paige and Brie, I should say, the tag team champions of the women's division. Logan now, look at the rights and lefts, the body shots by Logan Paul.
Well, he's an expert boxer. Why not use those skills in ring against your opponent?
Tag again, here comes Theory.
Dawkins at this point just looks completely washed in there. A spent force, perhaps.
Looking for it again, but this time, Dawkins moves out of harm's way, sends Logan Paul into Theory. Neck breaker. Logan Paul on the other end into a DDT.
Well, a burst of energy and suddenly an influx of momentum.
Tag to Montez Ford.
And how long's he been waiting for this?
Top rope, what an elbow. Shot to Logan. Clothesline to Theory.
Montez Ford's got springs in his boots, and perhaps that's going to be effective in dropping.
So fast.
Austin Theory.
Theory could not keep up the pace with Montez Ford.
So that little payback to Logan Paul from the cheap shot earlier. We're 1-on-1 now.
Theory got caught him with a left hand. The southpaw rolls through, caught by Montez into a power slam.
Great timing.
Montez cover. Kick out at 2.
Well, now Montez Ford really hitting that top gear and not even breathing hard. Just perfect execution on that power slam from Ford. And of course, that's just spectacular.
Theory caught Ford with an elbow. Ford, though, waist lock, tag. Logan Paul's legal.
I don't know if Montez actually saw that.
The southpaw Theory caught him, and Logan with a lariat. Here's the cover. Kick out at 2.
Got so much momentum on that springboard somersault lariat. Take another look at this to an unsighted Montez Ford clear to the throat. Not quite enough for the pin, but you sense that pin may be imminent.
Tag made the Theory again, another double team coming. Vision have done a great job tagging in and out of this matchup, keeping each other fresh.
Well, now they're cold and Vision and business-like.
Whoa!
God, that was a nasty.
Rolls him up, shoulders down. 2-count kick out.
Tez trying to grab a quick one there. No partner in the corner.
Tag.
There is now.
Angelo Dawkins makes the tag. Not pretty, but effective.
Well, pounds into a German suplex. Bizarre move, but it worked, and it's got Theory dropped.
Suicide dive takes out Logan Paul. Angelo Dawkins now gonna pick up the pace. Ford top rope, down goes Theory. Into the cover. Logan Paul just breaks things up.
Oh my word, perfect from Logan Paul, but that landing from Montez Ford off that Doomsday style blockbuster may have bust his kidneys. It took 2 or 3 seconds to get the pin in, and that was the difference.
This is for the World Tag Team Championship. Our main event on Saturday night's main event. The Vision defended against the Street Profits.
How badly do you want to be the kings of the tag division? It's going to show now.
On step up Enziguri. Dawkins sends Paul to the floor.
The Street Profits are just not missing all of their offense connecting flush.
Montez gonna fly! Incredible! That's what the Profits want. The tag team gold.
How can you not love these guys?
Oh my God! Oh my God! Braun Breaker knocks over the table by Dawkins. The Profits got a chance. The anointment from the heavens. Listen to this place. Ford into the cover. Paul Heyman grabbed the foot and put it on the bottom rope, breaking up the count.
Genius by Heyman. Ref didn't see it. That one was over. Uh-oh, Paul. Get running as fast as you can.
Heyman bringing off now. Montez Ford. Logan Paul with a right hand. And Logan Paul had the brass knucks on. He had the brass knuckles on. He knocked out Ford with the brass knuckles. The official never saw it.
Well, Ford completely out cold now.
Dawkins takes out Logan Paul. Covered by Theory. The Vision win. That was a 4-on-2.
Here are your winners and still the World Tag Team Champions, Austin Theory and Logan Paul.
Well, the numbers game pays off for the tag team champions.
Well, we needed 4 referees in this one. The last 2 minutes of that one was complete chaos and carnage, and I'm still trying to catch my breath.
Man, what a hell of a performance by the Street Profits tonight. Watch Dawkins just launching Breaker over the announce table into the chairs.
Just pure, raw, explosive power, and this was the moment the Street Profits had this in the bag. The 1-2 whammy. We've seen it a million times from the heavens. It's all over, guys. We got new tag champs. Well, that is why you pay Paul Heyman. Foot on the ropes, referee didn't see it, and there's the brass knuckles on the fist of Logan Paul knocking out Montez Ford completely cold, thrown into the ring, but imminently Dawkins taken out Logan Paul, but right now that is a completely out cold Montez Ford and the easiest pin of Austin Theory's career to retain the gold.
The roll over WWE and Monday Night Raw continues for the Vision. Logan Paul and Austin Theory retain. Thanks for joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on another edition of Saturday Night's Main Event. Have a great holiday weekend. Triple A is up next. Oh, maybe not done yet. And a spear by Breaker. A spear by Breaker.
Oh, this head case has completely lost it now.
And Breakker now targeting Montez Ford with a spear. You let him off the leash, and the dog's gonna bite. Torpedo spears by Braun Breakker to the Street Profits.